Yo, what up, guys? It's 10:30 on a Tuesday evening, in the middle of August, in my 30th year of life. Let's see if I can make this even more like a dystopic novel. Nah, I don't feel like describing the suburbs as dystopic. Alright, does that enough sometimes. I wonder if you can even hear the cicadas in the background. I wonder how people also see me walking through a neighborhood in the middle of the night. I don't know. Probably weirds them out, freaks them out. Probably get the cops called on me at some point, but what's there to it? I'm gonna do my thing. I have kind of a headache. I was playing League of Legends for a little bit with my friends, and kind of wish I wouldn't play that game anymore. We play like the not like ARAM, the for fun version, not the competitive 5v5 version of it. This is more of like a relaxed like version where you kind of just talk but I have a headache. Drinking a little too much caffeine lately. Wish I wouldn't drink as much caffeine. I think that's also part of the reason why. I have this issue, I think, with caffeine where I use it. So I think women, right, really talk about their anxiety, right? Men talk about ADHD. It both kind of stems from the same thing of trying to, this is what I think normal looks like. And for ADHD and men, it's like we always need to be productive. We always need to be doing something. We need to be our best self. And caffeine increases that heartbeat, a little bit, gets that blood flow going to the brain a little more. And you're like, yeah, this is my best self. And it's something I've known for a while. I think this first time admitting myself I want to change about it. It's like a little mini addiction, a little acceptable addiction, because it doesn't have too many drawbacks. I don't think I want to drink caffeine that much anymore. And the hard part is you'll have moments where you're tired and you can artificially inflate when you're tired or not tired. It offers a lot of control, which is nice, but yeah, I think I might take a break from it. We'll see. Here comes a car. Lights going down, lighting up the whole suburb. I hop to the grass, and they keep driving. It's kind of nice also, wearing glasses, to take off your glasses and, put it on your forehead and see the world blurry. I think maybe my personality just likes abstract impressionist paintings, but, blurring those lines a little bit without eyesight, not trying to see, is kind of nice. I don't even wear glasses. What am I going to talk about? I have to have something to talk about, right? I'm posting it on the internet. It needs to be presented. It needs to be good. It needs for people to like it so I can make money and then do more and more and more. God. I don't know. That might sound irrational or a little insane to people. Just the tone of it, a little crazy out here. I'm a little crazy boy. A little insane. Shut the fuck up. I'm getting cringe. Yeah. I really don't think much behavior out there is crazy. Maybe my tolerance for crazy is higher, but as I've said before, crazy is just something you don't understand that's easier to label as such. I'm not going to qualify everything. I'm just going to talk about soccer for a while. I love hyper fixating on AC Milan and their transfers right now. It's kind of nice, to cheer for the great American, the LeBron James of soccer, Christian Pulisic. Even though the more I listen to him, the more I'm like, about his personality. He just tries to be so goddamn manicured, so goddamn right all the time. And let's just say some of his takes on the world, even with that slipped through, are just... Oh, God, this fucking word I hate using, but I'll use for simplification, is privilege. Dude just comes off as privileged as fuck. Even though I'm sure he does sound like a nice guy, and you talk to him, he's probably a nice guy, right? Most things in the world, you talk to people, they're nice people, but then you inflate these ideas, right? These differences up, and then they cause huge issues in society. Crazy how that works. One consciousness is an example of them all. The whole society, consciousness society, is an example of us. Mirrors. Words full of mirrors. I love mirrors. And what do I love about mirrors? They are cool. Mirrors are cool. Yeah, no, okay, I want to start talking about society, but I don't. I don't want to talk about my ideas about society and conscious. I just don't want to. I don't want to explain things. I'm currently trying not to. Explaining things to myself, to people. It gets exhausting. Connecting all these ideas. Always connecting, always thinking, always trying to understand. Listen, I don't know if you're going to hear cicadas right now, but I just want you to imagine they're out there. Just listen to them. There's a slight slap of my footsteps on the pavement. It's like the foam against concrete, kind of relaxing. There's the occasional din of cars in the background every once in a while. You hear at night. And you're just walking. You're losing sense of reality, because there is no sense of reality. There's only what we tell ourselves it is. Fuck, I hate myself sometimes. That was probably out of left field. Fuck, man. Don't hate yourself. Don't do it. Stop it. Don't think of yourself as an object. Don't do the other side of the coin. Don't tell you're a good person, because if you're telling yourself you're always a good person, then inevitably the coin flips. You're the bad person. You're the piece of shit. Don't do it. Don't think of yourself as an object, as an identity. Don't do it. It's bad for you. It's all bad for you. Don't drink too much water. Your blood will poison. Don't do it. Don't eat too much sugar. You'll get fat. And if you're fat, you're bad. Don't do it. Don't question your sexuality. Just be straight. You'll be a good little boy. Yeah. Don't do it. Don't talk to people. Just spend the rest of your life just sitting in a corner. Don't do it. It's easier that way. Just listen to your instincts. Come on, do it. Just do it. Advice in a nutshell. Not to say you can't appreciate advice, but advice in a nutshell. It's a double-edged sword, and it does influence people. Sometimes unduly bad. People don't really need advice. That's a secret of the world. Or that I wish more people know. There's quite a few people who do know that, but people just need to be listened to, and oftentimes they already know the answer. Shocker. People aren't that stupid. We just think they are. That's the issue. Everyone's too goddamn smart. Everyone thinks they know. Even I do. I'm not prefacing. I'm just talking ultimatums. I'm not qualifying this. Fuck that. I don't care how it comes. Yes, you do, but fucking God. Fuck qualifying. Fuck qualifying. Just say what you're gonna say. The tone you're gonna tone, and it's up to people how they're gonna perceive things. I'm talking myself through that, so I'm not really. Means I don't believe that's true. Part of me at least does, and I'm trying to convince myself of that. Why do I try to convince myself of something I know to be true? Oh, there's someone outside listening to the radio. That's cool. Oh, I want to smoke fire. I think I'm going to grab a beer at the bar tomorrow. I haven't done that in a month or two. It's kind of nice to sit down and have a beer and just talk to strangers, the company of strangers. It's relaxing. Just meeting with people and enjoying it. Company of strangers, you're the one who knows me best. I wanna go to the ocean and send a postcard of my loneliness. Loving you is always easy, but the end is always just you're off. I don't know anymore. Oh, so I go faster right in front. And then, of course, I'll go off the third eye blind. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. Show me a garden that's bursting into life. Okay, I'll stop singing. I don't want to stop. All that I am, all that I ever was, is here in your perfect eyes. They're all I can see. I am not the object on this. I am the writer. I am the viewer. I am looking through the glasses, the whatever the fuck you think, see the things in New York City at the top of towers, like the binoculars you see through. I'm the binoculars. And you are seeing through me, or at me, or with me, or... Blue lights in front of a house. Green lights at the base of a tree, lighting them up. Street light. White. Light. Spotlights a patch of darkness. A car turning. Cars turn. Lights light. Electricity through generators. I am here. You are there. And that can give peace, or it can give terror. I want to find love so badly. Oh, you gotta love yourself first, baby. I'm trying pretty damn hard at that. I don't need that advice. Thank you very much. I need a fucking hug. I need a just good, solid fucking hug. Just fucking minute, 2 minutes. I just want some solid fucking skin-to-skin contact. A little bit of that good old oxytocin. Thank you very much. Put that right in my fucking veins. I just want a hug. Can you give me a hug? I can wrap it around my arms. That just makes me feel a little bit sad around myself. It's not very satisfying hugging yourself. I just want to talk to a girl. I just want to talk to someone who's, a little bit interesting. Has a slightly different view of the world, and just go from there and have a good time. And man, I want to be like they're doing Chainsaw Man. I want to have sex. I'm basically a born again virgin. I haven't had sex in over fucking 30, and I haven't had sex in like 10 years. A little over 10 years probably. Jesus Christ. That's a crazy stat for... I don't really remember. I've probably kissed like 10, 15 people in my life. I've only ever had sex with one person. Maybe not 15, probably around 10. I don't remember how to kiss though. It's been so many years before COVID, even a couple years before COVID. I had a little hoe phase where I was kissing people, and that was fun. In my early 20s. But yeah, I wish I had more sex. There's a million reasons not to have it, right? STDs. Just basically the STDs. I guess getting someone pregnant, but yeah, that's a territory of sex. By the way, do you guys think it's cringe if saying it's cringe to say I love you after sex for the first time? To me, I think this is unfair of me, and I think I'm walking back this take that I've had, but I'm gonna still say the take. Saying having sex after I love you when you're just in the height of emotions, or I don't know. It's a little weird to me after you've had sex and saying it for the first time. Do you really need to, I don't know, express when you're going to express, I guess. But I think I love you is already hard enough, Maybe you're just vulnerable then. You don't need to view it as chemicals and distance yourself from so often. Every once in a while, I'll talk about my perspective or some of these things, and a woman, I'll talk, I'll go on a date or a friend, and yeah, I went on a date with someone, and I asked if I could kiss them after going on 3 dates. I fucked that one up pretty bad. We actually had a decent connection, but I've learned I need to be more aggressive. Assertive is probably the better term. To, follow my instincts, my feelings, and just go for it. I remember with my girlfriend, we'd broken up, and I go back to my room, and I was at a basketball game, and we're all painted with my friends in the game, and I'm pretty drunk, and I just remembered her friend flipping me off. And I got really upset about that. Felt really bad about breaking up with her. I think I must have texted her or something, but I went back to my room, drunk as hell, paint kind of, I feel bad about this, but I got paint on my friend's couch because I was swimming, man. I was fucking swimming. And then, she's drunk, she meets me in the room, and then we're in the shower. I don't think we ever did anything in the shower besides that one time, but, I just remember pushing her against the wall. And afterwards, so the next day she was like, I really like that. Like, and I thought that was so weird that she liked that. I didn't even really know what I was doing. And, that little bit of aggression, that little bit of dominance that I'm just not quite inclined to do. I think in taking initiative and, being a little, there's that line of, I think, again, I'm not going to say this well, but being a little forceful, right? And I don't know how to, I think it through, and then I don't act in the moment, right? That's why I'm not trying to explain things to myself in this. So I just experience it. Like, and we weren't obviously a perfect match. She she didn't get sarcasm that well, and a few times I was making fun of her, and I'm like, no, hard to explain. But, sorry, I just transitioned my thought without even context, but it's usually how I go in my head is, and to people sometimes when I have to talk about myself or an experience and I'm a little nervous, I don't really transition things well. Or when I'm really flowing, I don't transition either. Drawing those lines is weird for me in my head. But I'm talking with her, and and the sarcasm thing, she doesn't fully get it, and then she asked me if I was autistic once because I was explaining some of these ideas really in depth. And I'm like, I was out of curiosity. It wasn't out of maliciousness. Like, no. Maybe a little bit, but no, not really. Do I have maybe some kind of features of it? Like, I decided to take it, and I remember one of the questions was like always walking behind someone, and I'm like, it's like, yeah, I used to run in college, and I'd always run behind my teammates, always, and then just wait at the end to kick. Just always feel more comfortable in the back. Same with walking. I don't like to walk side by side in front. I just prefer the back. Sometimes I like to lead, but I like to lead more than follow, that's kind of ironic, but yeah, that didn't work out. I just didn't act. Even if it's bad, like confidence is, I don't know what I'm doing right away. I have to relearn these things again a little bit. Action, just acting. It's not even about mistakes or repetition. It's like, I can say all that to like kind of lead in. It's just doing what I want in that moment. I wanted to kiss her. And then, she sells us, she sees as friend, because I never was that, I never did the assertiveness, I never did the aggressiveness, right? I just talked. I treated her like, I got really into conversations, but I treated her like everybody else. I unconsciously treated her like a friend. And I didn't, and it's like, talking about friend zoning, you friend zone yourself. Because you don't think of yourself as a possible match, like, deep down. And it's like, fuck all that. Just fucking act. You want to kiss her, kiss her. You know? And then you can have the no means no allegations later. Of course, you got to read signs, all that, and you know what I mean. Yeah. I remember another time where I was just talking to a girl for a really long. She invited me over to her house, and and she invited me in her bedroom, and we were just sitting on her bed, and we just talked for like 3 hours. And I didn't even realize till later that, she wanted to have sex with me. I'm a dumb little monkey for that one. I did have a fire line where she wanted to get like an face of Edgar Allan tattoo on her thigh, and I was like, man, that's gonna be wild for guys eating you out, just staring at another man's face, or something like that. She thought that was really funny. And then when we were in high school, there's this girl I in calculus class. Looking back, I think I did like her. I just, again, didn't really recognize I had feelings, and I believed I only liked a certain type of person. But, I didn't really connect dots until I remember another girl that was my friend told her to, like, kind of get close to me, like really close. And, a little, like, touchy and, like, almost exaggerated, like, kind of funny, but not, she's trying. And it freaked me out. I was like, what the hell is she doing? I remember another funny story of, man, people would say you peaked in high school or whatever, are really mean for saying that. I mean, you might not have the best experience, and there was a lot of hard things in my high school. I didn't have the best experience in some ways, but, from starting out in middle school where I was and how much I got, kind of bullied at first, to really finding a friend group, growing up with these people, there's a bond there. And it's nice to see your old friends from high school or the other classmates. I was really, really disappointed when the president of our class didn't set up a 10-year reunion. Some people tried to set it up, but it was really just hard without the president doing it. But if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it. But, you moved on to quote-unquote bigger and better things. You're too good for high school. You're too smart. Okay. Good for you, man. Congrats. You're so rich and successful now. Your life's so great. And you can shit on the people who really fantasize about high school. I'm sure you've never fantasized and held on to something too tightly you quote-unquote shouldn't have. I don't know. That shit's just weird to me. But, we were on a boat in a trip. It's in Michigan, and it's right on Lake Michigan. We're like an hour and a half drive from Chicago. We took a boat, our trip. We took a bus ride. I don't know, maybe to Lake Michigan or to Michigan City. And then we just took a boat all the way to Chicago, and then did events in Chicago together during, our senior celebration. There's a picture or two of us, and as a group, my friend group, you know, kind of the nerdier sports group. Not the full-on nerds, but I try hard in math, and I'm also athletic kind. Not the football kind, but the tennis, the cross-country track, the swimmers type. And there is a hypnotism thing, and there was a hypnotism where a bunch of us got up on stage, and I got up there and did it. Hypnotism didn't work for me, but of course I have to close my eyes and go along with what this guy is saying. Do this, do that. And, it got really spicy at one point, because he asked, do you find anyone attractive in this class? And I'm like, oh, fuck. I answered yes, and they're like, should we get him to say yes? And then the issue was the girl had a boyfriend. So I was like, I cannot answer this honestly. I just said Kate Upton or some bullshit. But I apparently, when I passed out, I was right next to this really popular girl's boobs without knowing, and people thought it was funny. I honestly got out of my eyes closed. And we go back on the boat later, and that same friend who was trying to set me up, and I never realized either both times, was that popular girl was interested in me after that, and she was waiting for me to join her on to look at the lake, talk with her. And I could have probably talked with her, hooked up with her, blah 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 blah. But you know what I thought in my head? My smart nerdy friends would judge me if I went and talked to a popular girl. I remember I had a mole. I have a mole on my cheek, birthmark, and I just remember growing up how much I got made fun of for it. And I don't think it helps when you have parents that are very strict. And I just always have thought I'm ugly. And I wasn't. I'm not. I mean, I have to shave my head now, but I'm still pretty fit and all that, but, objectively, I wasn't. I was probably decent looking, but I had, a couple people did like me, but I never dated anyone because I didn't believe that. I was the number one runner, second runner in the cross-country team. I ran in college. I was, went to state, all that stuff, and, went 1540 in the 5K in high school, high 420s in the mile, around 940 in the 2. Back for running times are just ridiculous now. What are they feeding these fucking kids? It's fit, everyone knew who I was. Everyone screamed my last name, Leahy, Leahy, Leahy. And I was over the top goofball. But I also took myself very seriously at the same time. Also just had a lot of parent issues. My mom and I were yelling at each other every day. I remember my brother told me when we got older that thought it was crazy. He got a little older and he understood why, but my grandma was dying of Lou Gehrig's in the house, and just watching someone just slowly atrophy away all their muscles, and they couldn't speak. They were just basically a giant vegetable, a brain trapped in a fucking flesh sack. And I didn't really ever have the best relationship with my grandmother on my mom's side either. But that idea of mortality just so the slow, insidious decay. Just watching it as she can't move her arms, her legs, can't move her mouth, can't even swallow, like all the muscles just going away until probably eventually even her heart would shut down, right? Till your lungs stop working, like all the automatic processes in your body. High school was really hard. Trying to get good grades, and you have all sorts of things. Being ranked like 8th in the state and not getting all state, which is top 30, getting really good grades, and then, taking the ACT, I should have studied for it, but taking the ACT, and getting a 27 on it, and all my peers are getting like 30, 32, 33, 34, and they're all shocked by how studying for those things is actually giga useful looking back. They're stupid as fuck metrics, but they're giga useful for the doors they open in terms of colleges. Because all it is just memorize patterns. I mean, if you just spend a couple hours a week for a couple months, maybe leave a little bit more, and you'll just nail that fucker. I'm tutoring someone on it now, and I'm going over the English section and realizing how easy it was, and how hard it is to actually explain some of the English rules. Our system doesn't do a very good job with that, like explaining M dashes and stuff like that. I had to teach myself through reading a lot and just writing and fixing that stuff. And I'm still not the best at some of it. Like when I'm just writing it from thought to feeling to thought, blah, 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 or from my brain. I don't really do a lot of good grammar or spelling. Decent though. I don't know how to qualify it. I'm not qualifying things. I'm just talking my experience. Yeah. So, I also think part of my issue, going back to women, is I pick the good girl, the person normal, who's nice, who's right, the one you can easily project yourself onto. And she's quiet, she's pretty, she says all the right things. She kind of gets what I'm talking about. She listens to me, right? And okay, they're blasting out here. But yeah. And that's not really, I don't think that would be a good match for me. My taste, it's what I wish I could be. Part of me desires to be that idea of normal. to be the guy working and doing, but it's just not what I want for myself. And yet that desire is there. It probably will be there, that friction, that tension that sometimes blows up, and I hate myself and all that stuff, and realizing that I don't want normal, but I do. And there's no cure for you, you know? There's no way to fix your thoughts or your feelings. Anything you try will resent it for. It's just talking to yourself, experiencing yourself, expressing yourself. You know, that's the secret why therapy works. It's not any of the special therapies. It's just talking about your experience as the I instead of the object. I think that's really all it is. People may say it's a little bit more, and yeah, there certainly is more about taking it back to yourself and like, but you just want someone to listen to you. And that's what all the studies will say is the most proven part about it. You just go and you talk, and someone listens, and it works. Because you don't feel so alone. And you say it out loud. And it's a lot different from keeping it in your mind, saying it out loud. It's a lot scarier. It's a lot more real. Action, baby. Action. Actions speak louder than words. Thank you, the guy who wrote Rent. And what's the movie play that on Netflix that's directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda? Maybe it's on Netflix. 30 or something like that. That sounds like the ESPN documentary, but Andrew Garfield's the main actor in it. Musical. Actions speak louder than words. Cages or wings, which do you prefer? Ask the birds. Fear or love? Don't tell the answer. Actions. Speak loud than words. You know, I could just see the amount of stress. I could see why that dude died of a heart attack so young, or stroke. I could just see the pressure he put on himself in, you know, this slight semi-autobiographical play he did. You could just tell how hard he just tried to eke everything out of life. And can't help but, you know, he helped everyone enjoy life, but can't help but wonder if he missed the point himself. That there is no point, that there's writing everything down doesn't make it any more real. Of course it helps with your art, but that's not, the artist is not their art. The artist just expresses art. It's a very big difference. But yeah. Why is this guy stopped? That's weird. But it's really weird. Maybe I'm weirding people out. I don't know. I'm just walking. I'm just walking outside. Actions speak louder than words. Actually, I might just go back into my neighborhood instead of walking by the high school on the well-lit path. But you know, when I was taking shrooms, this might be too visceral, but you know, I was starting to feel pretty good. I probably took a little too much for the first time. I started jerking off, and I just couldn't get off. It was the first time in my life I couldn't. Whatever it was just locked in all fluids in the body. Like water just did not feel great. You could, underneath all the like weird feelings of the shroom, I could tell it was a poison. I could feel it, the way it just went through my veins and just felt like a fever, but I couldn't sweat. There's a lot of things I experienced in that. Things I'd already experienced before, but in slightly different combinations. It's not like this wow magical mystery drug that everyone talks about. At least not to me. It is very, very trippy though. In terms of, you can't really center yourself. You kind of everything just flows. You lose the existential. And I think that's actually the great thing about drugs in general, alcohol, marijuana. Just like if you do it in small doses, they actually teach you about yourselves and how you want to experience life. Of course, they're easy to abuse, but they're actually useful teachers. But just this image of a bacteria conjugating, sticking out and whatever, its arm, or I can't remember the term for the arm that, you use to share material, and just me wanting to jerk off so bad because it feels so good and I can't. I just feel like quite literally my cock's throbbing, and I'm an animal and I can't stop, and that's all I am. I'm a bacteria just doing the little things in a bigger scale. I'm just that bacteria, and that image of that two bacterias conjugating, trying to conjugate, connect together, and I'm still doing it. I can't stop, and I'm an animal. I'm a fucking brutish animal. That ability for you to just go off the rails and just fall into it. I just fear that, and yet it dominates me. And I think I need to tap into that passion, but when you hold it back, it goes like a fucking tide and then a tsunami, right? And you're not one of those guys that's smooth, that's natural, that kind of does those things. But you kind of need to act that way if you want to meet people, or you want to meet a partner. Excuse me. I fear my writing. I fear the story that comes next. Took 60, I've taken 60 plus, probably closer to 70 pages of notes. No lying, it's probably somewhere in the 60s, lower 60s, mid 60s. It's, I have all these ideas, and, writing out for a dual conscious reality, my fears about AI, characters, realms, my thoughts on religion, spirituality, issues with that, characters, building this whole world, the rules that make sense, and characters that feel real and lived in, the drama, and all of this going on. And I fear it. I fear writing. It's the most intimate relationship I have with myself. the art and the artist coming out of you, not just making it autobiographical, forcing it out, actually having something experience flow through you, which is so hard for me. I write the things I want for myself. Always, a lot of times I feel like authors write out their regrets or what they wish they could be, the hero they wish they could be, and all that stuff. And it's the lives they wish they could live, and you can only live one. I think an author is oftentimes very controlling or a little bit narcissistic or not like narcissistic, but self-involved in themselves. You need to be self-involved though. It's how you can give the best gift. Give yourself to the world, the process to the world, have people interact with that. That's the beauty of it. You need to be selfish to be selfless. You really do. Being selfless doesn't mean much if you're not. If you're just doing it to be kind and you're not really to feel a need inside of you, that's not kindness. You can tell when someone's really being kind. And it's rare. Because they're giving their time to you. That moment to you. They're being there with you when they could be somewhere else. And that's invaluable. Beautiful world. I'm always thinking about dying, even as I'm saying this, and it's going to end. I'm constantly thinking that. Thinking about death, I'm thinking about life, I'm thinking about meaning, even as I'm talking in the background. I'm just saying words. Words giving meaning from intuitions and feelings and bringing them to life from nothing to something, and then something, they go back to nothing. They disappear. Yay! I just want to talk to a person about baking or cooking or just getting a hobby. It's also why I like writing is, I have these thoughts of, dying and all this other stuff and how I view that. And writing that in different ways and writing and all these really creative, cool ideas, or maybe they're not creative. All these cool ideas to me, and then I also like absorbing myself in smaller things. God damn, I need a break from myself, and I kind of just want to talk to someone about hobbies. I love talking about art. I could talk about art all day. Books or movies with someone, what they really liked about it. Even watching some of that, reading some of it, talking about it, just analyzing it, just fucking experience. Oh my god, I could just fucking, gets me going. But even just cooking or just, I don't know, other activities, even not talking about the weather, but actually talking about the clouds or the weather within the weather, like a meteorologist type weather, and talking about the different pressures. And also that thing where no one wants to, small talk is useless, and it's just so you're so deep, you talk about purposeful things all the time. If it's not exactly what your definition of deep is, small talk's, it's stupid, it's useless. Small talk has its place in the world. Small talk is valuable as fuck. It starts conversations. It breaks people in, It's nice to have, to just chat about nothing. Why do you have to talk about something deep and meaningful all the time? As someone who really likes to do that, small talk is so important. Because what the fuck is deep anyways? It's deeper than that. It spirals. You go down further in the spirals of turtles. Turtles all the way down. When you get to the bottom turtle, that makes it deep versus light. Your version of light versus deep. Because I'll hear people talk about what they think is deep sometimes, and I'll be like, that's deep, that's dark. It's all perspective. And my definition of dark and deep is, even those don't really exist, is a lot different. It's Apocalypse Now. It's, to me, is hitting that. That's just a brutal movie to feel and experience. That's a brutal, brutal movie. Darkest media I've ever seen. No horror movie can even hold a slight candle to that movie. Just Vietnam, the jungles of it. How going mad, what true madness actually is. How you can actually corrupt the soul. Not some bullshit, oh, my soul is so corrupted, Joker type stuff. Society is blah. Shut the fuck up. God, I'm, a little, why am I saying I'm being a judge? Of course I'm judging. I'm, people are so, don't label things, don't judge things. Judge them, label them, understand them, experience them, bounce off them. Do it more. Just go and experience and talk things and how you react to things. That's so important. People don't do it because it's not right. It's mean. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't label things. You shouldn't judge things. It's like, no, it's how hard you hold on to those labels that's the issue, not the labels themselves. It's just how we understand the world. We're not so far off from humans that are in the old ages, that lived outside and stuff. We have fear-based response of, we label things in an environment so we can understand it to feel if we're safe or not. We can't understand it, we get afraid. And so we need to label that. We live in labels. My friend's I was talking to him because I was frustrated about something. He's like, you're labeling me. And I'm like, motherfucker, I have this understanding of you. I am trying to learn how to perceive you again. Pull back my layers. Don't pretend like you don't label and judge me. Chuckling about that. I don't know. Sometimes when, he comes off, I'm trying to talk about my feelings with him a little bit, and I, very rarely ever do this about something going on, and it feels slightly dishonest to me, when he's just so intellectual about it, nothing bothers him, or he's like, oh, I'm cool, really? What I said, I was frustrated is cool? That's cool? Really? How do I interact with that when you're just being logical? This idea that, again, going back to that idea way back at the start, intellectualism is not that good. You're just making yourself third person the object. You're labeling whether you realize it or not. So, I just want to talk about my experience. And I just want to have it out with you. And you're like, oh, there's nothing wrong. And it's like, what? All this tension I'm feeling, you're feeling none of it? Really? I am pretty sure you can feel at least slightly. And of course you're not always on the mark, right? But none of it? None of it? Really? Maybe I just put too many layers. I see into things into details a little too much. And There's truth in that. Or maybe people don't see into details enough. Maybe it's other way. I don't know. I just need to talk about things. I get mad about things. It's important to get mad about things, to express it. Important for people, I feel like, to get mad at me. I don't like it. I fear it. But it's important. There's no rules on interaction. It's supposed to be someone yells at you, they're yelling at you. You know? That's how they know how to communicate their anger. That's how they're communicating. It's not they're disrespecting you or this. People are just communicating. And all the world is communication and miscommunication. Dogs barking at each other when there's a glass window or a glass door in the way, and they're just barking at each other because there's a wall up in between, a transparent wall. That's the fucking world sometimes. Arf arf, motherfucker. Man, from all the flooding, they're still draining the fucking sewers. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was fun. We got fucking sewer piss in our basement. Love that. Walking ankle deep in that shit. Having to clean that up. Yummy. Tastes, smells good. Stale piss. I like stale piss for breakfast. Yeah, boy. What am I going to do for the rest of the night? I'm a 2-3 a.m. type person. It's always a good question. So stressed about the story, and then of course I want nothing to do with it. Not experiencing it. I think I want to start it, and I don't know all the details with it yet. I think I need to know more, but I want to start it anyways. What do? I start it for the 4th time? I think I have a closer idea how I want to start it. Maybe I do start it for the 4th time. I think I'll do that tomorrow. I think I'll go have a beer tomorrow too. And actually go have it this time instead of saying I would like the last couple weeks. So I enjoyed talking with that bartender and that dude. It was kind of fun. And then also writing in diary. Yeah. I like a little bit of beer. I like a little bit of beer. Like a proper little queer. Hell yeah, you are, bitch. Okay, I'm just fucking rambling at this point. I'm gonna say a bunch of fucking off-the-chain shit. Yeah. That is a big part of, I am known as the off-the-chains guy. Yeah, maybe you wouldn't know it. Maybe you would know it from this conversation. Maybe I am coming off as a proper intellectual. Or a little really, but then, you know, I have my when I get really stressed or like interactions, I kind of have some crazy would you rathers. Here's one of them. Would you rather get fucked in the ass by Donald Trump, and vote for Joe Biden, or get fucked in the ass by Joe Biden and vote for Donald Trump? Of course, when they're running for president. I got some more spicy ones, but, you know, obviously I have to be careful, you know. I don't, again, lines, I don't know where to draw them a lot of times. So I've definitely gotten myself into trouble. I'm better about it now, but I've struggled with some of those social norms a little bit throughout my life. Because I don't really see them as lines. I don't, like, this is proper social behavior. Like, I've internalized it enough through consequences, right, that I don't, like, through social, but I still manage to embarrass my friends sometimes. Can't be serious all the time. Gotta be a boosted ape every once in a while. Okay. Do I really need to talk about being a boosted ape? There's no stars as usual, the light pollution, the clouds. Clouds are if ever, you can see that they're white, even with your rods, your darkness sensing eyes. There's got to be some cones seeing color right now. Later I'll do some Rorschach tests. Just look at the clouds and see what they form. I haven't done that since I'm a kid. Just really look at the clouds. I do sometimes, but not for long. Oh, I actually did that in Boston when I lived in Boston for a little bit. Just looking at the clouds. Oh, the clouds. Maybe you need a little more windy day. Yeah, I mean, it's just hard. You don't have that childlike wonder, right, as you get older and you're used to everything in your environment. And it takes a lot more to excite you to get surprised. And that's why it becomes so valuable, that childlike thing that you didn't think you'd miss as a child. And then, you like how adults get everything. And then as an adult, you don't want to get so much. You want to experience, it's the verses of the vice versa. Little fucking cookie. Looking through a maple tree leaves, seeing the spaces in between them. I love when movies capture that shot, the little bit of light shining through, the leaves, the spaces in between the layers of leaves that still manage to shine through. And you catch that ray of light, that beautiful ray of light, that, and it catches the motes of dust or whatever's in the air. And fuck, man. The amount of effort it gets those shots, the camera work, I am amazed by that sometimes. Truly fucking amazing. Oh, there's some branches that are dead. A few, I never noticed that. Man, just looking at the visible world, you see quite a bit. I think it's time to go. Love you guys, which I'm really saying I love you to myself because I talked and I feel a lot better, but I love you guys too if you got this far. I'm gonna give you a big hug right now because you're a fucking beast. You're a bad little bitch if you like. God, shut the fuck up. Oh, you guys are beasts. You're sick, Go have fun. Go ramble yourself. You don't need to ramble. And that's what this podcast's about. I'm going to try to not philosophize as much anymore as I was in the first ones. Just talk about stuff. You don't need to ramble. So let's ramble, let's cook, let's end this podcast, or this isn't a podcast, this YouTube video that's masquerading as a podcast, or a podcast masquerading as a video. I'm kind of just being hyperbolic with the paradoxes right now. So let's have this end until we begin the next video.